You know, deep down, most of us are in a constant battle. It's a fight between who we really are and who we think we're supposed to be. Well, today, we're going to unpack that tension. We're diving into the incredible work of Dr. Brené Brown to figure out how we can finally win that fight.
So let me ask you this. Do you ever feel like the pressure to be perfect is holding you back? It's a simple question, but let's be real. The answer isn't so simple. Do you ever feel like you're just performing? Like you're trying to meet this impossible set of expectations that just leaves you feeling completely exhausted? If that sounds familiar, then you get it. You get the pressure of perfectionism. And we're about to explore where that comes from.
And that feeling, the antagonist in our story, it has a name: perfectionism. Now, a lot of us wear it like a badge of honor, right? But as we're about to see, it's often more like a cage. Okay, so we've got to be super clear about something here. Perfectionism is not the same as striving to be your best. Not even close. Healthy striving is all about you. It asks, how can I improve? But perfectionism? That's all about other people. It's completely obsessed with the question, what will they think? It sets these impossible standards where any little mistake feels like a catastrophe.
So why on earth do we do it? Well, it's a defense mechanism. Think of it like a really heavy shield that we carry around. We're hoping that if we just look perfect and do everything perfectly, we can avoid the sting of being judged and the deep, deep pain of shame.
And you can't really understand perfectionism until you understand shame. It's not guilt. Guilt is the feeling, I did something bad. Shame is the feeling, I am bad. It's this gut-wrenching fear that if people see the real flawed us, they'll decide we're not worthy of connection. And that fear is what drives this desperate, exhausting need to be perfect. So if perfectionism is the trap, what's the escape route? Well, it's something totally counterintuitive. And it's where Brené Brown's research really changed the game. It turns out the way out is through vulnerability.
This was the huge aha moment in her research. The people who felt the most love and belonging, the most worthy, they weren't the perfect ones. No way! They were the ones who had the courage to be imperfect, the ones who were willing to show up and be seen even with no guarantees.
I mean, what a profound shift in mindset, right? These folks didn't see vulnerability as a weakness. They actually understood that our willingness to be open, to let our real selves and our imperfections show, that's what truly connects us to other people. So embracing vulnerability opens the door to connection, but it also uncovers the surprising link to another powerful emotion: joy. And the research found a really practical way to bring more of it into our lives. Now, this is what most of us assume, isn't it? That joy comes first, and then we feel grateful for it. It seems totally logical. But it turns out, the research showed we've had the whole equation completely backwards.
And there it is, the big reveal. Gratitude isn't just a response to joy, it's the catalyst for it. It's the practice of gratitude that actively invites joy into our lives. Get this. In 12 years of research, Brené Brown didn't interview a single person who described themselves as joyful who didn't also actively practice gratitude. And the key word there is practice. It's an action, not just a passing feeling. The people in the study had real, tangible gratitude practices. Simple things like keeping a journal or sharing what you're thankful for at dinner. It's those small, consistent actions that end up making the biggest difference.
Okay, so if we're going to let go of perfectionism, we need something to replace that harsh inner critic, right? We need a new tool, and that tool is self-compassion. Self-compassion is pretty simple when you break it down into 3 parts. First, there's self-kindness, basically treating yourself the way you would treat a good friend. Second, common humanity, just remembering that everyone struggles. You're not alone in your imperfection. And third, mindfulness, acknowledging your pain without letting it totally take over. It's the perfect antidote to that nasty inner voice that perfectionism loves to feed.
So when you start to combine all these ideas, letting go of perfectionism, leaning into vulnerability, and practicing gratitude and self-compassion, you arrive at the ultimate goal: living a wholehearted life.
This is basically the roadmap. It's a journey on 2 paths at the same time. On one path, we're actively letting go of things, like perfectionism and worrying what people think. And on the other, we're actively cultivating things, like authenticity, resilience, and joy. At its core, it's about making a daily choice, choosing courage over comfort.
And this isn't just some feel-good personal development stuff. These concepts are radically changing how we think about leadership and what makes teams successful in the workplace.
24%. Just let that sink in. That's how many employees in a massive global survey said their boss regularly shows vulnerability. What that tells us is that vulnerability at work is incredibly rare. And because it's so rare, it is unbelievably valuable.
The data is crystal clear on this. When leaders have the guts to be vulnerable, it doesn't make them weaker. It actually makes them and their team so much stronger. It creates this environment of psychological safety where people feel like they can share ideas, make mistakes, and bring their true selves to work. And the result? More creativity, more dedication, and way more innovation.
You know, when it's all said and done, everything we've talked about today is part of one fundamental shift. It's the journey from constantly asking, "What will people think?" to deeply knowing, "I am enough." It's about grounding yourself in the belief that you are worthy of love and belonging right now, just as you are.
So, as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some huge dramatic gesture. Maybe it's just sharing an idea at work that you're not totally sure about, or admitting you don't know something. Or maybe it's just being a little kinder to yourself when you make a mistake. What's one small imperfection you can embrace today to take a step toward a more wholehearted life?